there, and just a little update to show you what I've been doing and what I've changed. First of all, the title sequence showed off the new coaches I've just received. They're the Dapple Lionheart new suburban coaches, which I ordered a little while ago, and they've now turned up, so I've put those on the layout. Obviously all this stock that I bought new, if it hasn't been weathered, I will weather it or get it weathered at some stage, but that's just showing you them at the moment. What I've actually been up to, as I said last time, I've been doing a lot of thinking, which obviously is dangerous, but it's resulted in a few changes. Not massive changes as far as the layout track's concerned, or not much work as such, but it does involve a lot of design changes. As I mentioned, this was going to be the diesel depot, but I wasn't particularly happy because there's not a lot of room, and I have to sort of end it quite quickly because of that curve, as I mentioned. So what I've decided to do is make this a goods yard sidings. I couldn't really do that first time because I didn't have a big enough runoff here, but I've changed the setup a bit, so there's now a longer head shunt, if you like, and that can now be used as a small goods yard. What I've actually done on this, I have insulated it, so the whole length from here to the end is insulated and is powered from the programming track outlet. Now what I've done here, this little plug here, that is the programming track feeding the bottom part of the plug. I now can plug in that, which goes to the track up here, so that makes that the programming track for engines that don't need running in, or if I just want to change some CVs or something. If I need to run anything in or put it on a rolling road, then obviously all I do is unplug that and I plug in this end, which goes to the clamps. They clamp to the rolling road, and that's then fed from the Ecos. Alternately, I can plug the clamps into this contraption here, which is fed by the basic what is it? It's a Bachmann, isn't it? Analog controller. So if I need some running in of locos before I put a chip in them, I can put them on the rolling road and run them in without being connected to anything digital. So that's the sort of electrics bit sorted out. Now, as I said, what I did here, I had a bit of rearranging really. I mean, most of it was changing points over, because when you do these changes you find that you suddenly want an extra left hand point and you've only got right hand points, or vice versa. So I had to do a little bit of working around and swapping around. So it's changed a little bit, but not a lot of work. I've taken a point away completely from here, so this is now going to be fed round to here. Now again, I have a choice and I haven't really decided what to do. I could just make that a head shunt for anything coming into the goods yard, or I can have it as a head shunt and going, which I mentioned originally, going to a small steam shed. So that's one choice. Obviously I'm going to cut this down at some stage so I can get into it a bit more and make a bit more countryside there. But what I've actually done, the main change is I'm making this end now my diesel shed. I can then do what I originally wanted to do, which was make it like a small shed front, but it continues over the back, but obviously it's not there, it just goes into a back scene. And it's the old trick of just putting a few inches on the front of the shed, but you have it feeding into the back scene so it looks a lot deeper. Also, of course, I can take this line off here and curve it round where you can see the track setter, and I can actually put it over there. So I've got various choices. I could actually put the steam shed on the end of that, or just have that as a feed into another little area there, which perhaps was built initially before when the steam shed was just getting out of use. But anyway, I mean, that's by the by. I've got a choice on that, and I've made this is just going to be a storage area, and that is the head shunt running for the diesel yard. Obviously I've now got 4 tracks going into the diesel side of it. Well, it's 5 tracks actually, but the 5th track I'll probably have an oil loading or drop-in facility to feed the pumps, oil tanks, etc. So that'll give a little bit of working interest. So this is all now set up. It was really just changing points over, as I mentioned, but what I did find was I needed an extra left hand point. I've got this one here, which is a manual one, and I was going to put that in initially, but of course, as always, where I want to put the motor is right on a couple of beams, so it means a lot of work to put it. So what I've done is I've found a second-hand powered one which I've ordered, waiting for that to turn up. I should put that one in there because it doesn't need a motor. I've got the frog juicer wire all wired up and ready, so I just need to cut that off and feed it. And when I get the point, I just need to program it as point 17, and that's ready to go. A lot of these tracks obviously are not laid or connected yet, hence the non-digital class 55 sitting on the track. I want to get sound put into that. What else? Yeah, obviously I need that manual point. That's going to come over here if I decide to split the line here. And there's plenty of room to put the motor in there, so I'm not too worried about that. And that's going to be joined up, nice gentle 4.5 foot radius curve. It brings it into here. As I say, I've got this all to cut back, but apart from that, it's all coming on. I'm away for a little bit shortly, so I'm actually taking this video as much for myself, because last time I couldn't do any planning while I was away because I had a video, but I'd made some alterations in between the video and going away, leaving for holiday. So when I was looking at the video, I couldn't remember what I'd changed. I knew I'd updated it slightly, but I couldn't remember what it was. So this time I can use this as a bit of a guide to see what I might do when I get back. So anyway, that's a bit of planning. Just want to clarify a couple of points and add a bit that I've just realised I've missed. I keep referring to these connectors as plugs, and you probably think I'm mad, but these are actually set up as plugs, so which you can do. So obviously that is the socket for the programming track coming from the ECOS, and I can plug what I like into there. Obviously in this occasion that goes to the track, but I could just as easily plug the crocodile clips in it to take to here, or I can join the crocodile clips up to the analog controller and then clip the crocodile clips onto there. So it's a mix and match plug and socket system basically. Just wanted to clear that up. And another little add-on I wanted to say that I need to do is on my ECOS I've got the whole layout set up in one screen. Now it's nice to see if you're trying to set up the whole screen for a train to go around, to make sure you got the points all in one way. But what I have found is it's gets a little bit complicated when you're thinking of this behind you. You're not quite sure which one is which. I'm going to have a little play with it and see whether I can, well, I know I can create a new screen because obviously that one's labelled the main layout, and I can create quite a few screens and I can jump to it. So I might put a little jump to sort of emblem here, so that this area here which is effectively the side that I'm looking at is enlarged to become the whole screen, and that way it might be a bit easier when you're looking at it to decide which route you want when you're just running a train on this one side. And the same goes for this side, which is pretty much the engine shed and the storage loops. So I might well do that, but that will be something in the future, or when I've got a spare 5 minutes and I just want to play with the ECOS. So can't think of anything else, but I'll see what I perhaps have missed something, so I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, I think I've just about updated everything I've missed out in the first bit, and told you everything I'm going to be doing in the near future. But I thought I'd just finish by showing you why this is just a personal view, and why I wanted to make a diesel depot one of the main focal points of the layout. I just think, and especially an O gauge, and as I say, these are personal views, I think that they've got so much more presence than the smaller scale, and also the sound's so much better. And to a certain extent, again, I don't want to upset anyone, but I think diesels have a little bit more than steam. I used to be a steam person, but I think in model form it's very, very difficult to reproduce a steam engine, because a steam engine in real life has got so much presence. It's not just the engine itself, and it's not just the sound, it's the smoke and the smell and the steam coming out of everywhere. Well, that's very, very difficult to reproduce in a model. I know diesels have smoke coming out the exhaust, or exhaust coming out the exhaust, and you can't quite represent that in a model, but it's a lot easier to do than a steam engine, and so it's a lot easier to sort of believe or think that they're real than a steam engine. So that's one of the reasons that I just like the diesel so much. But I'll just give you a little demonstration of what I've just said, really, the sound and the presence of them. Okay, I mean, I don't expect to convert anyone, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm just showing sort of one of the reasons that I feel like this. But anyway, enough of the lecture type video. I'm going to leave it now. So the usual, if you want to comment, especially about the last bit, feel free. But I'll catch up with you in the next video. So bye for now.